Well, guys, shall we get into a true 180 from what we have been discussing for the past 30 minutes?
And that's Ram, babe.
That's Ram, babe. You guys have been asking for this for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Literally 4 years. This is one of the first things that we ever got requested to do. And I honestly didn't look it up for a long time. And I'm sorry to say, full disclosure, I was just like, I don't know what that is. And we have so much to get through. And then I was like, let me listen to my Rammies. Let me feed you guys with the history, with the herstory.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why today we are covering the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire.
Tess, I truly had the same journey as you. And I looked it up and I was like, you guys are sick.
I was like, my little babies are dark.
That's like why you are us and we are you.
Exactly. But I get it because it's like the same way that I'm like fascinated with Titanic, like that something that's just so tragic where everything went so wrong and it was preventable. And it also is like a feminist like story because it's all of these women that were affected and then the way that they unionized and some of the immigrant women that like came forth and organized all of these protests. It's like, fuck yeah. And terrible that this happened.
Well, so ram-coded, all of the above, I would say.
So ram-coded.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess we'll just get into it. So did you know about this? Was this one of your any historical obsession as a child?
No, this never came across my desk as like an obsession way, but I do feel like I had heard about it, but maybe it's because, again, I just had like 4 years of people telling us to cover it.
Yeah, same. I was like, this must be tragic. And boy, it is.
Boy, it is. God, okay, tell me. Take me through the journey, Tess. I'm ready.
Okay, guys. So the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire. Also to say this, like say it 5 times in a row. I keep saying like triangle. I still don't understand. My brain can't compute it.
TSW?
Triangle. TSW. Okay. TSWF. TSWFF.
Oh, factory fire. Oh my God. Wow. It is crazy.
It's crazy, but we're keeping everyone on their toes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm sorry. It's like making me giggle because it's just like, it's such a stark contrast.
If you're on premium, we just had literally like 40 minutes of catching up and like hanging out.
Being like, summer's been so fun and crazy. We've been out dancing into shows. And now it's like, okay, on March 25th. Okay, March 25th, 1911, the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory, the Triangle Shirtwaist Company factory in New York City burned, killing 146 workers. It is remembered as one of the most infamous incidents in American industrial history, as the deaths were largely preventable, Claire. Most of all, the victims died as a result of neglected safety features and lock doors, which is like so Titanic to me. Like, this is really where I connect to it, where it's like, open the fucking doors, open the doors.
Yeah, but like, from what I know, it's sick why the doors were locked.
No, it's actually disgusting.
It's also very Carrie, by the way. Have you seen that movie, Carrie?
Oh, yeah, the horror movie?
Yeah, where she makes the doors locked with her mind and then she sets everything on fire.
Wow, it is the power of a woman.
The power of a woman, truly, truly.
So the tragedy brought widespread attention to the dangerous sweatshop conditions of factories and led to a development of series of laws and regulations that better protected the safety of workers. But how we got there is crazy. And whose fault is it? Men.
Men. Well, yeah. Ask me anything. Ask me anything.
Don't get mad, you guys. It literally is these two little evil men. So let's talk about the working conditions in the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory. So the factory was owned by these two men named Max Blanc and Isaac Harris.
Max and Isaac.
Evil. And it was located in the top 3 floors of the Osh building on the corner of Green Street and Washington Place in Manhattan. It was a true sweatshop, Claire. Like, we talked about American Apparel sweatshop conditions. Like, this was like picture early 1900s, like hot women in huge dresses being treated like
hot,
crap.
Women.
Hot
women.
Both, actually, you know?
Literally both. Both. Hot women and hot, women.
Of course. Mm-hmm. And so it employed young immigrant women who worked in really cramped spaces, at lines, in sewing machines. Nearly all the workers were teenage girls who did not speak English and worked 14 hours a day, Monday through Friday. And 8 hours on the weekends. So no, because the first when I was reading that, I was like, well, at least they got weekends off. No, they did not.
No, they did not. They had a full workday on the weekends. By the way, I'm like, this was after Teddy Roosevelt's presidency. So like, what the hell?
What the hell? Yeah, I'm like, why was this able to happen?
Yeah, because I thought that maybe he just like, he did stuff with child labor. So he's like, well, they're teenagers after all.
Oh, that's true.
Who knows?
But doesn't that go till 18? Like, maybe
People,
it's different.
like, yeah.
Also, the fact that like they were immigrant women, like maybe they just weren't being, big shock there.
Well,
Respected.
exactly. Not respected, but expected to do the work that no one else wanted to do. Yeah.
Exactly. So in 1911, there were 4 elevators. So we're just going to like paint a little scene, a little architectural map, if you will, of what is going on. There were 4 elevators with access to the factory floors, but only 2 of these elevators were fully operational, and the workers had to file down a narrow corridor in order to reach it. So God, just imagine, oh God, when you're like boarding a plane and you're on the, whatever that's called.
Tarmac? Well, the plane's on the tarmac and the hallway kind of thing.
Yeah, when you're on the thing that's like leaves it.
Uh-huh.
And there's no AC.
The wing? No.
The wing, if you just all of us on the wing. Like pile in there.
All of us on the wing.
You guys know what we're saying. I can only deal with that for about 5 minutes until I'm like, oh, it's starting to get a little like cramped in here. Like the claustrophobia is scary.
Real.
So you can just imagine. There were 2 stairways down to the street, but one was locked from the outside to prevent stealing.
To prevent people
Like,
from
people
the outside coming in stealing?
Yep.
Okay.
And the other was only opened inward. So just like tough to navigate any
If
of
it's
this.
a small corridor. So like you could only pull it towards yourself to open it.
Exactly. And that is not
Okay.
good for any sort of, think about like when people start fleeing a dangerous situation, you're just trying to push, like you're not trying to like, maneuver that. The fire escape was so narrow that it would have taken hours for all the workers to use it, even in the best circumstances. And in fact, it collapsed during the fire under the strain of extreme heat and weight as people were rushing to get down. So the fire escape is not even safe.
Oh my God. The fire escape on the outside, obviously.
Yes.
Okay.
So this is like what's really tragic, that the danger of fire in factories like the Triangle Shirtwaist, they were well known. It's not like everyone was like, oh, we were surprised by this. But high levels of corruption in both the garment industry and city government generally ensured that no useful precautions were ever taken to prevent fires.
Which is crazy. What is a triangle shirt waist?
I will post, it's going to be posted to the carousel. It's like what women were wearing at the time, like under their big, like a button up.
Okay.
Like a long sleeve button up that like went up to your neck and then had like a big, hoop skirt that,
And so
or not hoop skirt. I guess that was like more like, yeah.
this
A skirt,
factory was to make those.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So those little 2 assholes that we mentioned before, Max and Isaac, they had a suspicious history of factory fires, Claire.
Oh, really? Like insurance fraud? Like Lisa Vanderpump?
Like
Lisa Vanderpump?
Like Lisa Vanderpump with,
Allegedly
with, what's the one that burned down?
Villa Blanca, and like also Sir, I think that there was some fire stuff there. So
Well, the one time we went to Villa Blanca, we were like, it looks like it was just set on fire minutes before we dined because the curtains were all black.
scorched. That was like, you guys.
I was like, for that wealth, get a new set of curtains. Like people are trying to
Please.
have lunch here.
Please.
And then we all got well, except for Claire, we all got food poisoning.
Yeah.
So that's for a different time. But the Triangle Factory was twice scorched. Scorched is a great word, actually.
Yeah,
Scorched.
I love it.
In 1902, while their diamond waist company factory, which I don't know what a diamond waist is. Maybe a similar
Me
shirt?
either.
I don't know.
Oh.
That burned twice in 1907 and 1910. So they were just setting fire to all of their factories.
It's for insurance fraud?
Well, It seemed that Isaac and Max deliberately torched their workplaces before business hours in order to collect on the large fire insurance policy they purchased, a not uncommon practice, especially in the early 20th century. While this was not what caused the 1911 fire, it contributed to the tragedy as both of them refused to install sprinkler systems and safety measures in case they needed to burn it down again for insurance. So this wasn't them deliberately doing it, but they're like, well, we're not going to make sure it's safe because we might need to do it again.
Well, like, we can't, you guys. Like, we've got to collect our money at some point, so.
Isn't that crazy?
Wait, that is crazy, which we might get to at the end. I'm guessing that there are regulations now. Like, you have to, do I have a sprinkler in here? No, I do not. Okay, well, I'll have to figure that out later.
That's actually a great point because you have to have a sprinkler in hotel rooms, I believe, or at least hotel hallways and retail. But I think houses just have to have a fire extinguisher. Do you have a fire extinguisher?
Surely. We should all have fire extinguishers.
Especially if God, I mean, yeah, LA had I have been more aware of fire extinguishers, let me just say, in the past 6 months than I ever thought about. But yeah, you gotta know where that is. So everyone just check their house, I also just found out that you shouldn't pour water on a fire. Just found that out.
Well, especially in a kitchen. It depends on like where it is. In a kitchen, you put baking soda on it.
Right.
A grease fire, water will make it go bigger.
Yeah. So I was glad to have learned that. So let's, just fire. I didn't end the episode with fire safety, but it can just be sprinkled without, just all of us, knowing a little bit more than maybe how we entered this episode. So they did not do anything to help the safety measures. And added to this delinquency were their notorious anti-worker policies. Their employees were paid a mere $9 to $15 a week. I completely forgot to do the calculator on this. I can actually just do it right now in live journalism.
The thing that's like hard now is because our economy is like in such a bad, crazy place. Everything's so expensive. So like it doesn't even translate still. You know what I mean?
It's so hard to even like know how to conceptualize that. But so it's about $510 a week. And you guys, they're working 14 hours a day, Monday through Friday, and 16 hours total on the weekend for $500 a week.
No, it's truly like they're working 24/7. I wonder,
literally.
Wait, okay, $500 a week. So sorry, $500 divided by 8.
Divided by, I'm like, oh no.
Wait, there's not 8 days in a week. Lols.
Okay, yes, divided by 7.
Okay, that's $71 a day divided by 14. So they get $5 an hour.
You guys,
that's
God.
Crazy.
My God. So the International Ladies Garment Workers Union led a strike in 1909, demanding higher pay and shorter and more predictable hours. And Max and Isaac's company was one of the few manufacturers that resisted it. They hired police to make sure that like none of their women would do it, and they would pay off politicians to look the other way for their workers.
This is what's so frustrating. And to take it back to Peaky Blinders, like all of like the police officers are like, and politicians, like everyone is so corrupt, and like they still are today. It's like our system is so broken with corruption.
God, it's so true. And it's like what we talk about all the time of just like even like the people that you vote for or respect, like you can't fully be a fan, and you can't just be like everything that they do is perfect because the system is not perfect. It's very dark. But you should still vote for, you should still vote, but just don't ever be like obsessed with them. You know what I mean?
Wait, so this was New York, right?
Yeah.
And like, again, Teddy Roosevelt was on the police commissioner to like stop all this corruption. It's also just very interesting timing that we're doing this episode after all of that.
Yeah, we really have been like in this time zone, haven't we?
Yeah.
And that's for the history girlies. You guys, we're listening. We know you like this era. We do. Okay, so a lot of people don't know. I wanted to mention this young woman. She was a teenage immigrant by the name of Clara Lemlitch, and she led this huge strike that ended up just like revolutionizing the way that people treated these women. And she's amazing. So, Clara. Yeah, Clara. I was like, Clara? No, Clara. Clara and her family had immigrated to the United States several years prior to this disaster. Like many Jewish families, they had come seeking political asylum and spoke exclusively Yiddish. And upon arrival, all of the children were expected to work, and most of the jobs available to immigrant women were only really in the garment industry. So Clara, alongside other school-age girls, worked 11 hours a day in the sweatshop, sewing shirtwaists. This describes a shirtwaist just as a fashionable blouse, by the way.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll just, yeah.
A fashionable blouse.
A fashionable blouse, trendy jackets, beaded bags, and other items that, like, they could never afford, you know, which is like such a, you're just thinking of these teenage girls, like, making these elaborate garments for these, like, you know, rich women that could buy it. Like, it's heartbreaking to me.
Well, same. And I'm just thinking that, like, God, they're like not getting educated at all. Like, how are they ever supposed to even get out of the situation? It's really, again, like not even that long ago.
It's not that long ago at all. Like, it kind of gives me chills because it's just like these stories seem like a different world. And you're like, not really.
No, not really.
No,
Truly.
yeah.
And it's like crazy that, again, our country is so young. We've come so far. We're really trying to work some shit out right now. Like, we're in their awkward growing pains phase. But, like, God, at least, like, this hopefully is not happening in any shape or form. I mean, I don't know. I guess I can't speak on that. But it's just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's happening to this extent in this country, but in other
In this
countries.
country. That's what I mean.
No, yeah, I don't think so. I think that there have. I mean, I think that what happened, the fire. I think that we've come a long way, but God, sometimes it feels like we take one step forward and just two steps back, doesn't it? With
Tell
like
me about it.
everything.
Mm-hmm.
So after just a few weeks of this hard labor, Clara was like, She was like, this is not city. Like, she's like, fuck no. Like, I don't want to be doing this. And even though that she was in a union that represented sweatshop workers, it didn't offer much protection. Okay. Like, so it's not like she could really seek anything out of this union. The ironically named Male Only International Ladies Garment Workers Union. So I think that men were only able to be involved like in the union.
For like the benefit of the women. They're like, we'll be your representative, but you can't actually like contribute to this.
Exactly. And it's called Ladies Union. And it's like women can't even get a fucking, God, I can't even catch a break.
That's crazy.
They didn't permit women to engage in bargaining or collective action. So they were like, it's just for show. We're just saying you have a union because it seems cute, but like you actually can't try to get more rights or money from this.
Oh, that's crazy.
Crazy. So across the industry, the majority of garment workers were those who weren't represented by the union. And they were overwhelmingly immigrant, like we've talked about, mostly younger women. And I didn't even think about this, but it's like these women are lined up every day and they're working at these dangerous machines too, because this is before like, you know, the technology we have now for sewing is so different than that of 1911, where like their fingers are getting hurt and their backs are hurting and it's hot and they're not getting water breaks and all of this stuff. And then also they're being harassed and even assaulted by male foremen who are in charge of the factories over their shoulders, screaming at them, telling them what they're doing wrong, and many times sexually harassing them. Like, it's so bad.
You know what I think about all the time with this time period and like major immigration is like, that is actual hell. And they left their country to come to America for that. Like, God, it must have been so bad where they were. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's just crazy.
I know. And then it's also like this American dream, right? Of like, it's going to be better there. And they say that women have more rights and immigrants have more rights and all these immigrants are going. And then you get there and like, that's your new reality that you have to face of being like, wait, it's not anything close to this dream. And it's still such hard work. Like, it makes me so upset.
I know.
And just these young girls, like, my God. And they kind of did this thing too. Well, first of all, they had to take their work home with them. So if they didn't finish in time, it would be like, make sure that you finish this by tomorrow morning, bring the sewing machines home, like whatever you have to do to get it right.
And they also didn't have any like bathroom breaks and stuff, you said, or like,
I mean, I think
water breaks.
I think they just wasn't, not anything that was safe or healthy. Like, I'm sure that they could maybe once a day. I couldn't like see any information on like what that was regulated like, but just so awful. And there was this other thing too, where like many of the girls on the machines on the assembly were viewed as like there was kind of like the unskilled versus the skilled. And they would like, everyone was pretty much doing the same thing, but they would just pick and choose women that they thought were more skilled. And they would like give them like a little bit more of a break than the unskilled. So it was like such a divide there too, which like didn't help at all, being like, you guys suck and you guys are the ones that can actually like do this job.
Oh, but that's also like a form of control by like the people who are higher up too, to create that divide within them.
Exactly.
Oh God.
Exactly. Yeah, actually this says too, this paragraph actually says that many suffered without any breaks during the day. So
Can you imagine? Also, sorry, but not even sorry, like women being on their period working there. Can you imagine?
oh my God, truly, I really can't imagine.
It's just like
Eh,
all these girls whose girlhoods were completely stolen from them.
no,
Ugh.
it's just awful. Um, and this is interesting. So when I was mentioning the skilled versus unskilled, so what was considered some of the skilled women were the ones that ended up like speaking to lawmakers and bosses, and those skilled ones, do you want to guess what they may have looked like?
White women.
Exactly. It was the
So-
white women who spoke English, the ones who knew how to operate and work the machines a little bit more clearly. And in the union meetings, these members would plead with factory bosses for small changes, but rarely sought larger interventions. And instead, um, they would, what does that even mean? Wring their hands at wealthy sweatshop owners. Oh, and local public officials to make small enforceable improvements. And those would just go unnoticed. So it was the skilled workers got the chance to actually try to talk to lawmakers, and they still were like, no.
It was, I guess, mainly beyond being white, because I feel like most of the immigrants were white back then, though.
I think white
Like mainly
English,
just
like
English speakers, like
I
British,
think English,
Irish.
exactly, or just
Yeah.
women who maybe were born in the United States who were
Yeah.
like looking for work in New York. So I think it was the white
American
women
born.
that couldn't speak English.
Yeah.
So Clara was like, all right. She said that she knew a real change couldn't come from a handful of men smoking cigars in the back of a pub. That's what she said.
Oh my God, who's this diva?
I know. I was like, I love you. God, I feel like also everyone that we covered named Clara, I'm just like, they're always iconic.
How old was this Clara? You said
17.
teenager? 17. Well, magic age.
Magic
And we've
age.
been
And
saying that.
something must have just fired up within her, just being like, fuck these men. And that happens at all of our lives at some point.
Well, truly, and multiple times. It's also just like, to me, I'm like, how do you have this bravery and this drive to like know how to do all this? You know what I mean? Like, how do you start a revolution?
Especially at 17, when all you
Yeah.
want is to be the same as everyone else. You don't want to speak up. You don't want to like ruffle any feathers. You're just like, let me blend. Like it's such a time of like when you just think blending is safe. And she did not want to blend. And her goal was to emphasize the sheer volume of people being hurt by the sweatshop system. Like say that.
Impossible.
Sweatshop system. And she had seen the ways that the structure of the sweatshop economy incentivized parents to keep their kids out of school, only to result in premature injuries. I'm like, oh.
Wait, say that one more time.
I'm almost like, wait, I need to like digest that. She had seen the ways that the structure of the sweatshop economy incentivized parents who to keep their kids out of school, only to result in premature injuries.
I think because it's like they're wanting their kids to get in the factory so that they can make more money. So they're keeping them out of school, which means like they could endanger their life so early.
There we go. Thank you.
Yeah.
That makes sense. My God. So she spent years learning about the ways that the union operated and organizing the women and the girls she worked alongside. And if there was going to be a real shift in the way garment workers were treated, not to mention paid, this action was going to have to include everyone, you know, and not just the workers who looked and talked like the bosses, meaning like not just the English speaking women. Yes, I just love the way that you just said that. You're like, you know,
It just really made me laugh. Yeah,
just
no.
the women and the girlies. And, you know, that's also hard about being a leader, is that you have to be like, guys, everyone has to stand behind me. But that's not everyone feels safe and comfortable to do that.
Exactly. And there will always be people who are like, you know what? It's not ideal, but it is what it is. And we don't need to like ruffle any feathers.
Exactly. My God. So she spent years, she was brainstorming She was,
Mhm.
she was working. And she was just 23 years old when in 1909 she climbed onto an apple box and declared a general strike, sparking a movement that would ultimately be known as the Uprising of 20,000. That's what it's called. There'll be pictures on the carousel. It's so many women that are just like on the streets of New York. I have chills. My God, every time just women like come together being like, please, holding up these signs. Like it was just it's crazy.
It's
I mean,
powerful.
it's powerful. And for months, thousands of her fellow workers picketed various sweatshops throughout Manhattan, including the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory, demanding basic safety regulations and human rights. Their news of the movement hit the papers in other cities and then spreading strikes across the nation. So it was like the start of many different strikes.
Which is also so crazy because they're asking for literally the most basic thing ever.
Like just
But
keep us
also,
safe.
yeah, and also how brave though, because it's like if you're striking, you're not making money.
Exactly.
Ugh.
Exactly.
Which
And
is
they're already
again
making
why,
nothing.
yeah, you need the whole group because it's like if only a few of us are going to do this, it's not going to be effective at all.
I know. And as powerful as this was and amazing as Clara was, this did not stop the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire on March 25th, 1911. And that is what we are now going to talk about. You've just finished listening to our preview episode of the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire. If you liked this episode and you want to hear more and actually what happened on March 25th, 1911, we have the full episode for you on our premium channel. That will be in the show notes. You get 3 bonus episodes a month, and just 1 episode a whole month is a history episode, and that is geared towards our premium listeners who want an entire hour and a half of a history episode, and we would want to give main feed a little taste of it. So this is your tease. Please, no bad reviews about this, you guys. We do this once a month, and we have 7 other free episodes for you a month. That's 7 episodes that are free for main feed. We try to keep our Rammies fed, so please look in the show notes and enjoy the full episode if that's what you want to hear.